member of the Chosen Children, Takeru, or TK, has finally entered the picture, as well as the first Holy Digimon, Angemon. Episode 20 is a well-crafted rescue mission story that takes advantage of the Digimon's anatomy for some really unique action sequences. Last week, Tai and Matt infiltrated a fortress Digimon with Leomon in order to extract a mysterious package that Leomon knows Devimon's forces greatly value. At the end of the episode, we see the kids reach the package and discover that it's a tube containing Matt's younger brother, TK, who we last saw digitizing in episode 18 when he reached out to the sky to help create Omnimon. Presumably in between now and then, TK landed in the desert area of the digital world and was intercepted by those dark forces before he could find his brother or the others. But speaking of the other kids, we saw that time has passed since last week when the other half of the Digidestined arrived back in the real world. It's been at least a day, and Sora and Izzy meet up in a park to plan what's next. There's an interesting exchange here where Sora asks Izzy what his parents thought of their 3-day-long absence, and Izzy hesitates to answer as if there's something weird going on with his family. In the original show, Izzy was adopted, but his parents loved him to bits, so I'm not sure what he was hesitating about here. Are they different in the new series? This could be interesting, and I'm looking forward to the next time we get to hear about Izzy's family dynamic. Before he can explain though, Tentomon chimes in on Izzy's laptop in a scene that was reminiscent of the Digimon partners appearing on the computer screens during our war game, the middle section of the Digimon movie. It turns out that our missing Digimon partners are safe and are actually in that in-between network-style world that Tai and Matt occupied in the first couple of episodes. We don't get much more out of this B-plot other than knowing the kids are safe and the whereabouts of the partner Digimon. The rest of the episode is dedicated to Matt and Tai trying to save TK. Velgamon tears the roof off of Valvemon, which is actually quite violent when you consider Valvemon is supposed to be a living organism, and grabs TK out of the pod. The kids Digimon transform to Ultimate or Kanzentai so that Metal Greymon can take flight to pursue Velgamon. Metal Greymon simply isn't fast enough though, but accepting this fact results in this incredible combo move where Wergarurumon tells Metal Greymon to fire off one of his Giga Blaster missiles, and then Wergarurumon rides and eventually surfs on the missile. Metal Greymon manages to close in the distance between him and Velgamon and fires out his Metal Claw Trident Arm tether. It latches onto Velgamon's leg and creates a bridge that Yamato then runs across. It was satisfying again seeing the Digimon's anatomy and physical forms really matter in the action sequences. I can't think of many cases where Metal Greymon actually took advantage of that tether arm in the previous series, and it was great seeing Matt run across the arm and dive onto Velgamon. This series has been letting the kids get up and close and active in the battles since the very first episode, and I continue to love that. They're not just kids cheering on from the sides. So Matt breaks through this orb thing holding TK and pulls him out. There's a really nice animation here. I also enjoy this scene of Matt and TK holding each other when Wergarurumon shows up and meets TK. It's like meeting a member of the family. The team retreats and things are looking good on land until Velgamon sends out this massive suppression wave which paralyzes the kids and their Digimon. Velgamon somehow gets TK again. Matt is screaming no, TK is screaming stop it, and that's when a beam of light cuts between TK and Velgamon. The light dims down and we see Angemon, one of the fabled Holy Digimon the kids have been searching for since episode 5. A Digivice is created in TK's hands and Angemon lowers TK back to the ground. Somehow Angemon's presence is enough to give Metal Greymon and Wergarurumon this massive power up, and with this holy energy they make really short work of Velgamon. Even though Angemon didn't directly do the fighting, the energy he lent Metal Greymon and Wergarurumon plus the escape from Devimon's prison must have drained him, and he started to break down just like when TK first lost Angemon in the 1999 series. I appreciated this visual callback even if it wasn't quite as dramatic as the original birth and destruction of Angemon, since it was condensed to only a few minutes. Angemon's data starts reforming into an egg, and Agumon and Gabumon inform the kids that all Digimon start and end in the egg form. Right before TK can reach out to grab the egg, it's swept up by Skull Knightmon, who my viewers correctly guessed when I asked last week for hints about that silhouetted Digimon. Skull Knightmon is best known from Digimon Cross Wars, so another bit of a crossover shout-out kind of thing happening here, like how Velgamon was originally best known from Frontier. The egg containing a Holy Digimon is snatched, and the episode ends here. My verdict is this: my eyes were glued to the screen for the entirety of this episode. I loved seeing Matt in a determined state of panic, knowing there was no way he'd let the bad guys get away with his younger brother. The creative action sequences that involved Wergarurumon riding Metal Greymon's missiles was even better than last week when we saw Agumon riding on Garurumon, and having Matt sprint across Metal Greymon's tether arm was such a great use of the Digimon's moves and physicality. The appearance of Angemon brought the episode to the next level, and seeing the power boost he gave our existing Digimon leaves me excited to see how the powerful Ultimate Digimon can become even more powerful with the help of the Holy Digimon. This is a 9 out of 10 episode for me. It's one of the best of the new series in my opinion. But what do you think will happen next? How far away do you think Kari is from joining the crew? Are we thinking 3 episodes, 5, 10, more than that? Let me know in the comments where you see things going from here. If you haven't already, be sure to watch my Last Evolution Kizuna ending explained video and subscribe for new episode reviews moving forward. You can also catch up on the existing episode reviews if you're new to this channel and you like what you saw. Okay, see you next week.